This video is sponsored by Helix Sleep. You know what sucks? When you put so much time and effort into a project that fails. When you genuinely put blood, sweat, and tears into something new, something fresh, and no one cares. When you push to make and build a new franchise that gets off the ground only to faceplant. Well, that's exactly what happened with my favorite movie, Ugly Dolls. I'm just kidding. Have you ever heard of John Carter? Or I guess I should say, do you remember John Carter? Am I right? Am I right, guys? This was a massive movie from Disney in 2012. It was the biggest new sci-fi. It had big buff hot guy, it had space and Mars and aliens, it had money and budget and a chance to be something new. It was based on super smelly old books that, without ever touching or seeing, you can imagine what these smelled like. Ew, just look at them. These books had to have the good old smell, dude. Like, just imagine that old smell. The covers, by the way, I mean, just look at these covers. I want to see this world. I want to see what this looks like as a movie. Well, it turns out the rest of the world didn't. They just didn't. This movie was a massive flop, barely scratching enough money to break even on the production budget, which is insane. This was one of the most expensive movies at its time, and it didn't do good. It just didn't do good enough to justify that. This franchise seemed like what everyone in audiences would love. The original books were apparently inspirations for so many sci-fi that we love today, and yet the original inspiration couldn't find a way to take off on its own, and that's a little sad. I mean, this movie was put out by Disney, in a time where their live action movies were slightly original movies instead of just remaking animated movies, and none of it worked. None of it. And if one of them was going to work, you think it would be what seems like the start of a genuine, hot, sexy franchise. But no, not even close. I mean, this movie isn't bad. It's actually very charming and fun at times, albeit not as grand or exciting as other sci-fis. It's a perfectly entertaining movie. It stars Taylor Kitsch from that Battleship movie, another great, successful movie. This poor guy, he's really just in all of this stank Hollywood attempts, huh? The movie also has Willem Dafoe voicing yet another green guy. I mean, it even has Walter White, Bryan Cranston in it, and that's crazy. It has every single sign and reason to be successful. I mean, it has a hot guy, a hot girl, a great new world, it's on Mars. It just seems like it would be successful, like it would be great. But no, it's not, just sadly not. But you know what is great? Today's sponsor, Helix Sleep. I've had a Helix Sleep mattress for about 2 months now, and it's been great. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding that are shipped directly to your door. I first got the mattress in a box, this big old California king-size mattress in just the box, which to me was insane. Once I unwrapped it and let it inflate, boom, there was a super big, comfortable mattress right where I wanted. Since getting the mattress, I sleep through the night, and my back pain from my old mattress has gone away. My old mattress would be lumpy and not comfortable at all, and I would never sleep through the night. I hated it, and Helix Sleep was the perfect solution. I think the best part about Helix Sleep is how it ships right to your door with free shipping. An entire mattress in a box is honestly a crazy concept I can't even wrap my head around. Helix offers a sleep quiz that matches your unique body type to help you find the perfect mattress for you. I'm a side sleeper, and my girlfriend is a stomach sleeper, and you can select what kind of firmness you want. We both wanted a medium kind of feel firmness, not too soft, not too firm, so medium is perfect for both of us. You also put how often you wake up with back pain. I usually get back pain pretty often, so that's what I put. Kylie put sometimes, and I think that's a really good thing to put into the quiz, which matched us with the Helix Plus. If buying something you haven't tried makes you nervous, Helix has a 100-night sleep trial, so you can get more than 3 months to make sure that you love it, and if you don't, they'll pick it up for you and you'll get a full refund. So if you're looking for a great new bed, you can click the link below or go to helixsleep.com/frames to get $200 off your Helix mattress. And it comes with free pillows. I mean, come on, look at these pillows. They're super fluffy. That's helixsleep.com/frames. Or click the link in the description. I mean, come on, do it for my cat Winston. He likes the bed, and so will you, man. I mean, like I said before, because of this bed, now our cat actually sleeps in our room. He loves to just be in our bed with us. That's crazy. He never has done that before. So just go to helixsleep.com/frames or click the link in the description to get $200 off your mattress. Now back to the video. I think one reason this movie failed is because it doesn't do enough to make you understand its world and universe. You're not going to draw in crowds with some random sci-fi world, people like knowing how certain worlds work. What are the limitations of this universe? What is the universe? The rules, the way it works. Besides one very small explanation of a city in the beginning, you don't get to know how this world functions at all. And honestly, it's quite confusing from the get-go. It doesn't really let you know anything about the world, and it doesn't build it throughout the movie, and it just feels like a very massive barrier that audiences most likely did not care to overcome. It's this fantastical sci-fi that definitely has a massive, well-thought-out world, but it won't tell you about the well-thought-out world. It won't dive further into explaining it or showing or anything. It feels like this movie just expected people to know about it, or was confident enough that it would dive further in a sequel, or that people just would not care to think about it. Whichever the reason, it definitely led to this movie not being as appealing or memorable. I think a slight comparison for this movie could be Avatar from 2009. In a way, the main characters are extremely similar, military himbos essentially, and they go to a different planet, yada yada yada. They fall in love with the random popular girl person, but in Avatar, the only thing people like about it is the world, because that is all it has. It spends so much time furthering its universe and the life around it and the intricacies of ponytail sex. It's very detailed even to that point. In John Carter, you get very surface level. You find out about green tusk alien dudes and human-looking people with tattoos, but it feels very limited. It feels like that's it. That's all it has. It feels like this is all the universe has to offer on this planet. But there's like 20 books. Y'all couldn't tease anything else? Because this is a movie that takes place on Mars, and we see two races of people who have very distinct cultures and everything. But the human ones are essentially just human dudes. That's it. They got tattoos and they have like metal cities. That's it. Basically everything here just isn't detailed enough to justify the science fiction aspect. But if it's just okay in the world department, in the world building, what about the characters? Do they make up for that? Well, no. They're characters. Our main character, his name is in the movie, John Carter. It's in the movie title. And we meet him in the beginning in the 1800s, right after the Civil War. And this man, John, guess which side he was on? He was on the side of the Confederates. Yep. Yeah, they kept that in. Like, okay, this book series was written very early in the 1900s. Like, the first book was 1912. So the authors set it for these times. I guess it was fitting for back then. But after quite literally 100 years, you couldn't have just slightly changed the original setting and character? Like, why does he still have to be a Confederate veteran? Why? Why is he still a Confederate? It just doesn't apply to anything at all for John. In fact, the entire first 30 minutes of this movie don't need to happen. The entire first 30 minutes of this movie are very boringly dedicated to the post-Civil War setting, and the only time it plays into anything is at the very end of the movie in a crappy way. This entire section could just be taken out. If you want to transport him to this world, he literally could just be during modern times, and it would be the exact same. He would be the exact same character. Honestly, just make him a modern military himbo, like Battleship. This is all so we can have the fish out of water story, with John Carter being transported to Mars in a magical cave, but it is ungodly boring. John is this hardened guy who has a backstory of a dead wife and daughter, and that means he doesn't trust anybody. And when he meets Walter White, he steals his horse and he runs away. But as he's chased, there's a gunfight and Walter White gets shot. This is the first time that we see John be a little redeemable kind of guy, and he helps him and he protects him, but oh, they're near this creepy cave. Oh god, he's hurt and they're near a creepy cave. But by the way, this is the very last time that you see Walter White's character. Like, all of the effort put into John being a redeemable person and saving him like a good guy that cares, it just doesn't matter, because instantly John sees this alien, and the alien has a device that teleports him to Mars, and by the end of the movie, John gets accidentally teleported back, spoiler alert, and yeah, he's dead. Oh yeah, he's dead. He bled out, I'm guessing, and he died, which is insanely funny, because it really just feels like the beginning of this movie has no effect on John or anything else in this movie. It's just some weird side thing. Let's dive into the story real quick of this movie, because we have to remember, this is a fish out of water story essentially, with John Carter being transported to Mars in a magical cave in the intro, which is ungodly boring, like I said. But anyways, as John gets transported to Mars, this is crazy, because he is this 1800s man out of his element, I guess. And he tries to walk, but oh no, gravity is different, and this makes him jumpy and strong, and this is why he is special. Our main character is special simply because he can jump high. This is what drives the entire movie. Note that this is a universe with flying things and teleporting aliens and big furry monsters, but the fact that John Carter can jump high is why everyone cares about him. As a character, John kind of just sucks. He's nothing. He is literally just a himbo, but not even in a lovable way. He has a very small tragic backstory. He has a redeemable side where he saves people that end up dying anyway. And as soon as he meets an attractive female, this man is bricked up. He meets the Queen of Mars. Basically, the first book of John Carter was called Princess of Mars. So when he meets her, he is literally instantly trying to get with her. Like in their first conversation, he is licking his lips while talking to her. They just met and this girl is literally telling how her people are in trouble. The entire people of Mars are in trouble and you're horny. You are very horny. When John first arrives on this planet, he meets green alien tusk people who are shown as savages. And honestly, I think their design is very boring. It just feels very bland. I do like some of the characters in this species since they look like big green humanoid ants and their colony looks like an anthill. I wish we could see more of that. I wish we could see more stuff like that. And some of these aliens are likable, like the Willem Dafoe character who's like mean, but he's reasonable in a way. But we also have the tattooed people like I mentioned, and among them are the special alien dudes like the big bads that control behind the shadows. These are shapeshifter dudes who give the main villain their power. And with all these elements and all these science fiction setups, it kind of just ends there. All of the setup I'm trying to explain, that's it. It just doesn't have more to offer. There's an entire second half of this movie, and that's it. You just have the rest of this bland looking desert world, really. John doesn't really grow or have an arc. He just kind of gets more and more horny for this girl. But then we get like a big killing montage where John just kills a lot of the green race alien people. But at first I was like, wait, aren't these the people that like he's been hanging out with the whole time? But no, it turns out they're like a different clan of the green people that are in a different part of Mars. So it's okay that he's killing all of them. I don't know, it's just confusing. And the tattoo people, you know nothing about, literally nothing about, except the princess girl. Basically what I'm saying here is that we meet a very limited amount of people and none of them matter in the end. The two societies on Mars are just thrown aside for John's intense, down bad situation for this girl. It becomes very bland and very dry. I mean, if you turn off your brain, you can like some of the stuff here. Like when John jumps, ooh, John do be jumping, because even if he genuinely has no character, it really is fun to just see a himbo be a himbo and fight and kill like he's actually a superhero or something. Eventually, by the end of the movie, John saves the day in a very anticlimactic battle between, I actually can't tell you. I can't tell you which side is actually the one we need to root for. I think that the tattooed people and the green people join sides, but I don't know against who. I guess these soldier people, but the soldier people are the tattooed people, but I don't know how they defected from the tattooed people. There's like the one guy, but like how did he start? And there's no explanation for it. It sucks. It's really confusing. So basically, just turn off your brain, watch people die a lot, and that's all you can enjoy. But once John saves the day, the big bad sent him back to Earth, which I was like, whoa, that's cool. It's like, whoa, John has to suffer a moment. Wow, I like that. And then we get an entire sequence about how he spent his whole life trying to get back to Mars, and this has all just been a story to his relative, and John is actually dead now. But no, he's actually alive. He's actually alive and goes back to Mars, and you're just like, oh, okay. And they like end it the exact same way as Avatar, where both the characters are just lying down and they open their eyes and whatever, and it's like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? But for this series, you'll never know. You will never know what happens next unless you read the books. And that's it. That's all. John Carter is a failed franchise that seemed like it had the structure and framework for a successful sci-fi franchise, but simply stops there. It doesn't do enough to make you care or want to live in this world. It doesn't care enough to immerse you. It gives you all of the bare bones ideas and simply just thinks that's good enough. This movie failed because once you watched the trailer for it, you saw everything that it had to offer. If this movie ended up actually getting a sequel, I wonder what more could have done to build upon all of this, because for something as grand as a galaxy-spanning tale, It feels small. Feels very small. There are rumors and talks about John Carter being rebooted for a Disney Plus show or movie, and honestly, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see what that could be like. Maybe put some substance in this empty desert world, or make the desert look a little cooler. I mean, come on, it's a sci-fi. It doesn't have to look like a bland desert. This movie just shows that no matter how expensive a movie is, no matter how destined for success something seems, sometimes it's just not good enough. You can have everything handed to you, but then what do you do with what you're given? The bare minimum or something special?